If loyalty was a stock, I'd be broke by now. That thought hit me like a sledgehammer as I stared at my phone calendar. The date circled in red digital ink, March 15th, our 7th wedding anniversary. The same date Megan had apparently forgotten for the third year running. I'm Chris Martinez, 39 years old. I'd project manager at a mid-sized tech firm in suburban Phoenix. I fix problems for a living, debug code, troubleshoot networks, make things work when they're broken. Ironic, considering I couldn't seem to fix my own marriage. Morning, babe, Megan called from the kitchen, her voice carrying that practiced cheerfulness she used when she wanted something. At 36, my wife still turned heads with her auburn hair and green eyes, but lately those eyes looked right through me. I walked into our granite-countered kitchen, expecting maybe a card, a smile, some acknowledgement of the day. Instead, I found Megan scrolling through her phone, a protein shake in one hand, gym bag already slung over her shoulder. Happy anniversary, I said, testing the waters. She looked up with genuine confusion. What? March 15th. 7 years ago today, we said I do in your parents' backyard. The confusion shifted to annoyance. Oh, right. Sorry, Chris. I'm swamped at work. The Henderson account is imploding, and Janet's been texting me all morning about some crisis with her divorce lawyer. She grabbed her keys. We'll do something this weekend, okay? Before I could respond, she was gone, leaving behind only the scent of her expensive perfume and the sting of complete indifference. I stood there for a full minute, coffee mug in hand, processing what had just happened. This wasn't absent-mindedness. This was deliberate dismissal. The woman who used to plan our anniversary celebrations months in advance had just brushed off our 7th like it was a dentist appointment. My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend Mark Thompson, an ex-cop who now worked private security. Happy anniversary, brother. You and Megan doing anything special? At least someone remembered. I drove to work through Phoenix traffic, my mind churning. When had things gotten this bad? When had Megan stopped caring enough to even pretend? The signs had been there for months. The late nights at the gym, the secretive phone calls, the way she'd started dressing differently, more provocatively. But not for me. At the office, I buried myself in code reviews and system updates, but concentration was impossible. Every few minutes, my mind drifted back to Megan's dismissive expression, the way she'd looked at me like I was interrupting something important.
Around noon, I made a decision.
If Megan wouldn't celebrate our anniversary, I'd celebrate it anyway. I drove to the jewelry store where I'd bought her engagement ring and picked up the necklace I'd had on layaway for 2 months. A delicate silver chain with a small diamond pendant. Nothing extravagant, but thoughtful. Personal. The plan was simple. Surprise her at work, take her to lunch, give her the gift, try to salvage something from the day. Maybe remind her why we'd fallen in love in the first place. Megan worked as an HR manager at a corporate consulting firm downtown. I'd visited her office maybe 3 times in 7 years, usually for company parties or emergencies. The receptionist, a young woman named Carol, smiled when she saw me. Hi, Mr. Martinez. Here to surprise Megan? Something like that. Is she in? She's in the conference room with Janet and Marie. They've been in there for like an hour, probably gossiping. Carol giggled. You know how they are? I knew exactly how they were. Janet Reeves and Marie Collins, Megan's closest friends and biggest enablers. Janet was recently divorced, bitter about men in general, and Marie was single by choice, preferring what she called recreational dating to commitment. Together they formed a toxic trio that spent most of their time complaining about their relationships, or lack thereof. I'll just wait in her office, I said. Carol nodded. She should be back soon. They're probably talking about tonight. Tonight? Girls' night at Copper Canyon. They've been planning it all week. Girls' night, on our anniversary. The necklace box felt heavier in my pocket. I settled into the chair across from Megan's desk and waited. Through the thin walls, I could hear muffled voices from the conference room. Laughter. Lots of laughter. I checked my watch. 12:45. I'd been waiting 20 minutes. Then I heard my name. Poor Chris never stood a chance. That was Janet's voice, carrying clearly through the wall. I leaned closer to the shared wall, my heart rate spiking. I mean, he's sweet and all, Megan's voice. But Alex is like a machine. The stamina, the creativity. Chris thinks missionary position is adventurous. More laughter, Marie's voice. How long has this been going on? 3 months, Megan said. Ever since I joined CrossFit Phoenix. Alex is one of the trainers there. God, you should see his body. All those muscles, and he knows exactly how to use them. My vision blurred. I gripped the arms of the chair, knuckles white. Janet,
Now I got to mentioning.
does Chris suspect anything? Huh. Chris suspects what I want him to suspect, which is nothing. He's so wrapped up in his computers and his little projects. Half the time I think he prefers his code to me anyway. What about tonight? Marie asked. Alex is picking me up after girls' night. We're going to his place. I told Chris the first D probably crash at Janet's. You're terrible, Janet laughed. I love it. The conversation continued. But I'd heard enough. I stood on shaking legs, the necklace box burning in my pocket like a coal. Alex, a trainer at CrossFit Phoenix. 3 months. While I'd been working late to afford anniversary gifts, my wife had been working late on someone else. I walked out of the office in a daze, nodding absently at Carol's goodbye. In the parking garage, I sat in my car for 10 minutes, trying to process what I'd just learned. The betrayal was one thing, painful but not entirely shocking, given how distant we'd become. But the casual cruelty of their conversation, the way they'd laughed about it, the detailed comparisons, that was something else entirely. I drove home and called in sick for the rest of the day. Then I sat on my couch, staring at the necklace box, and began to plan. I spent the rest of the afternoon doing what I do best, gathering information. If you want to understand a problem, you need data, facts, context, and after 7 years in IT, I'd learned that people leave digital footprints everywhere. Megan's laptop was still on the kitchen counter, password protected but not encrypted. It took me 15 minutes to bypass her login. She'd used the same password scheme for everything since college. What I found made my stomach turn. WhatsApp messages with Janet and Marie going back months. Detailed discussions about Alex's performance. Photos I didn't want to see. Plans for tonight that went far beyond innocent girls' night out. But the worst part was the group chat they'd created, the Upgrade Project. The name said everything. Marie had started it with a message from January. Operation Upgrade is a go. Time to find Megan some real excitement. Janet's response. About time. Chris is sweet, but he's like a golden retriever, loyal and boring. And Megan. I deserve better than missionary position and anniversary dinners at Olive Garden. 3 months of messages. 3 months of planning, scheming, and laughing at my expense. They'd even created a scoring system for Megan's dates with Alex, rating everything from technique to duration. I was mentioned frequently as the baseline, the minimum standard that Alex consistently exceeded. But it wasn't just about the affair. They'd been actively working to undermine our marriage, encouraging Megan to be dismissive, to pick fights, to create distance. Janet had suggested the forgotten anniversaries. Marie had recommended the late-night gym sessions as perfect cover. I screenshotted everything. By 5 o'clock, I had a complete picture of my wife's betrayal. By 6, I had a plan for revenge. And by 7, when Megan came home to get ready for her girls' night, I was ready to put the first phase into motion. Hey, she said, breezing through the door with her gym bag. How was your day? Productive, I said. Learned a lot of new things. She wasn't listening, already heading upstairs to shower and change. I'm going out with Janet and Marie tonight. Don't wait up. Have fun with Alex. She froze on the stairs. What? I said have fun. At Copper Canyon. With the girls. For a moment, I saw panic flicker across her face. Then the mask slipped back into place. Right. Yeah, it should be fun. She continued upstairs, but I could see the tension in her shoulders. Good, let her wonder. While she showered, I made 2 phone calls. The first was to Mark. I need a favor, I said when he answered. Name it. Remember that background check software you showed me? The one you use for skip traces? Yeah, what about it? I need you to run someone. Alex Russo, trainer at CrossFit Phoenix. Mark was quiet for a moment. Chris, what's going on? I'll explain later. Just run him, okay? I have a feeling there's more to this guy than meets the eye. Give me an hour. The second call was to Emily Chen, Megan's stepsister. Emily was 32, a nurse at Phoenix General, and one of the few genuinely kind people in Megan's family. She'd always been friendly to me, maybe too friendly according to Megan, who'd made several comments over the years about Emily's obvious crush. Chris, is everything okay? Hi, Emily. I know this is weird, but are you free tonight? I have something I'd like to give you. Give me? What's the occasion? It's complicated. Can you meet me at Desert Ridge Marketplace around 8? Sure, but Chris, you're scaring me a little. What's going on? I'll explain when I see you. And Emily, bring your phone. You might want to record this. Megan came downstairs at 7:30. dressed to kill in a black dress I'd never seen before. She looked beautiful and dangerous, like a snake in designer clothing. "Don't wait up," she repeated, kissing my cheek with lips that had probably been on Alex earlier that day. "I won't," I promised. "Have fun with your upgrade project." This time she definitely heard me, but she was already out the door, probably too eager to get to Alex to process what I'd said. I met Emily at the marketplace's central courtyard, a busy area with lots of foot traffic and ambient noise. She looked concerned, her dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, wearing scrubs from her shift at the hospital. "Chris, what's this about? You sounded strange on the phone." I pulled out the necklace box. "Today's my anniversary, 7 years married to your stepsister." Emily's face softened. "Oh, Chris, I'm sorry. I should have remembered. Where's Megan?" "Good question. Officially, she's at girls' night with Janet and Marie. Unofficially, she's probably getting ready to sleep with her personal trainer." Emily's mouth fell open. "What?" "I found out today. 3 months she's been cheating with some guy named Alex. Her friends have been helping her plan it, encouraging it, turning it into some kind of game." I held up the necklace box. "I bought this for her. Spent 2 months paying it off. But you know what? She doesn't deserve it." I opened the box, revealing the diamond pendant. "You've always been kind to me, Emily. You remembered my birthday when Megan forgot. You asked about my work, my hobbies, my dreams. You treated me like I mattered." "Chris, I can't take this. It's beautiful, but please, let me do one thing today that feels right. Let me give a gift to someone who actually appreciates kindness." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "You're too good for her. I always thought so. Will you record this, me giving you the necklace? Why? Because I want to remember what it feels like to make someone happy. And because," I smiled grimly, "I think Megan needs to see what she's missing." Emily pulled out her phone and started recording. I fastened the necklace around her neck, and her smile was radiant, genuine, everything Megan's hadn't been in months. "Thank you, Chris. It's beautiful. I love it. Happy anniversary, Emily. To celebrating with someone who actually cares." She hugged me, and for the first time all day, I felt human again. We talked for another hour, about everything and nothing. Emily was easy to talk to, always had been. She listened when I described my work projects, laughed at my jokes, asked thoughtful questions. Everything Megan had stopped doing years ago. When I got home around 10, I uploaded the video to my social media accounts, with the caption, "When your wife forgets your anniversary, but her stepsister remembers what kindness looks like." Celebrating 7 years with someone who actually appreciates the gesture. #anniversary upgrade #grateful for kindness. Then I went to bed and waited for the fireworks. I woke up to my phone buzzing like an angry wasp. Notifications flooded the screen. Likes, shares, comments, messages. The video with Emily had exploded overnight, shared hundreds of times across Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. The hashtag #anniversary upgrade was trending locally. The comments ranged from supportive, "You deserve better, Chris," to brutal, "Where's your wife, bro?" to downright savage, "Plot twist. The stepsister is the real wife material." Several people had tagged Megan, asking where she was and why she'd missed her own anniversary. But the real fireworks started when Megan came home at 6 a.m., still wearing yesterday's dress, makeup smeared, looking like exactly what she was, a married woman returning from a night with her lover. "What the hell is this?" She thrust her phone at me, showing the video that now had over 2,000 views. "It's me giving an anniversary gift to someone who appreciates it," I said calmly, sipping my coffee. "You gave my anniversary gift to Emily? Your anniversary gift? You forgot our anniversary existed until I reminded you. Then you blew me off for girls' night, which we both know was code for Alex night." Her face went white. "I don't know what you're talking about." CrossFit Phoenix, 3 months, the upgrade project group chat. "Should I continue, or do you want to keep pretending?" Megan sank into a chair, her mask finally slipping completely. "How long have you known?" "Since yesterday. I heard you and your little coven laughing about it in your office conference room. Poor Chris never stood a chance, right? Alex is like a machine?" She had the grace to look ashamed, but it lasted about 5 seconds. Then the anger kicked in. "You had no right to give Emily that necklace, and posting that video, making me look bad online? That's petty, Chris, really petty." "Petty?" I laughed. "Megan, you've been cheating on me for 3 months while your friends turned it into entertainment. You've forgotten our last 3 anniversaries while planning elaborate dates with your trainer. You've lied to my face every single day, and you think I'm being petty? It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think." I read the messages, Megan. All of them. The scoring system, the performance reviews, the detailed comparisons between me and Alex, the jokes about my technique, my stamina, my equipment. She flinched at each accusation. Those were private conversations. So was our marriage, but that didn't stop you from sharing intimate details with your friends. My phone rang. Mark, I got that information you wanted, he said. Alex Russo, 34, personal trainer at CrossFit Phoenix. But here's the interesting part. He's also got a record. 2 DUIs, 1 domestic violence charge that was dropped. And he's currently behind on child support for 2 kids in Tucson. Thanks, Mark. Send me everything. I hung up and looked at Megan. Your machine has some interesting mechanical problems. What does that mean? Ask him about his ex-girlfriend in Tucson, the one he put in the hospital. Megan's confidence cracked. You're lying. Am I? Ask him about the DUIs. Ask him about the child support he owes. Ask him why he moved to Phoenix from Tucson so suddenly last year. I could see the doubt creeping in. Good. This doesn't change anything, she said. But her voice lacked conviction. We have problems, Chris. Real problems. Alex makes me feel alive again. Alex makes you feel like a conquest. There's a difference. She stood up, gathering her purse and keys. I need to think. I'm going to stay at Janet's for a few days. Give Janet my regards. And Marie. Tell them I said hi from the upgrade project. After she left, I spent the morning monitoring the social media fallout. The video had gone viral locally, shared by friends, coworkers, neighbors, even some of Megan's colleagues. The comments were getting more brutal as more people recognized us and began speculating about where Megan had been. Then I got a call from Emily. Chris, I'm getting messages from people about the video. Some of them are pretty nasty about Megan. I'm sorry. I didn't think it would blow up like this. Don't apologize. I'm not calling to complain. I'm calling because I saw Megan at the grocery store an hour ago, and she looked like she wanted to murder me. What did she say? She said I was pathetic for accepting her leftovers, and that I should be ashamed of myself for helping you humiliate her. Then she said some things I won't repeat. My blood boiled. She said what? It doesn't matter. But Chris, I think you should know that she's planning something. She was with Janet and Marie, and they were all talking about damage control. I heard Janet mention something about turning this around on you. What kind of damage control? I don't know, but they looked angry, really angry. I thanked Emily and hung up, my mind racing. Megan and her friends were regrouping, planning a counterattack. In my experience, when cornered, people like them didn't retreat. They escalated. I was right. By noon, my phone was buzzing with concerned messages from friends and coworkers. Someone had posted on Facebook, claiming I was emotionally abusive and that Megan had been afraid to leave for years. The post, shared from Janet's account, painted me as a controlling husband who monitored Megan's every move and flew into jealous rages. Marie had posted her own version, claiming I'd stolen Megan's anniversary gift out of spite and given it to Emily to hurt and humiliate my wife. She included screenshots of the original video, but edited to remove the context about Megan forgetting our anniversary. Within hours, the narrative had shifted. Instead of being the wronged husband, I was now the abusive controller who'd publicly humiliated his wife for having friends and a social life. The comments under my original video turned nasty. People who'd never met me were calling me manipulative, possessive, and worse. Several suggested I needed therapy or anger management. But the real gut punch came when I got a call from my boss, David Chen. Chris, we need to talk. Can you come in early tomorrow? What's this about? Someone called HR about your social media activity. They're claiming it creates a hostile work environment for women. I need you to come in and explain what's going on. After I hung up, I sat in my empty house and realized I was in a war I hadn't started but was definitely going to finish. Megan and her friends had made a critical mistake. They'd escalated from private betrayal to public character assassination. They wanted to destroy my reputation? Fine. But I had something they didn't: the truth. And unlike their carefully crafted lies, the truth had documentation. I opened my laptop and began to prepare for battle. I spent the evening building my case like a legal brief. Screenshots of the Upgrade Project group chat. Photos of Megan's credit card statements showing charges at expensive restaurants I'd never been to. Hotel bars during her supposed girls' nights, and a jewelry store purchase for a men's watch I'd never received. Bank records showing cash withdrawals that corresponded perfectly with her dates with Alex. But the smoking gun was Megan's Google location history, which she'd forgotten was synced to our shared family account. While she'd been telling me she was at Janet's or working late, her phone had been pinging from Alex's apartment complex, sometimes until 3 a.m. I compiled everything into a detailed timeline, cross-referenced with her lies, and saved it as a PDF. Then I created a private Instagram account and began following her friends, coworkers, and family members. The next morning, I arrived at work early for my meeting with David and HR Director Susan Walsh. Susan was a no-nonsense woman in her 50s who dealt with every kind of workplace drama imaginable. "Chris, we received a complaint that you're using social media to harass your wife and create a hostile environment for female employees," Susan began. "Can you explain what's happening?" I'd prepared for this. I pulled out my phone and showed them the original video with Emily. This is what I posted, a video of me giving an anniversary gift to my sister-in-law because my wife forgot our anniversary and went out with her friends instead. I mentioned that Emily appreciates kindness, nothing more. David frowned. The complaint suggests there's more to it than that. "There is. My wife has been having an affair for 3 months, with the help and encouragement of her friends. When my video went viral and people started asking where she was on our anniversary, her friends began posting lies about me being abusive to deflect attention from her cheating. I showed them the screenshots of Janet's and Marie's posts, then the evidence of Megan's affair." Susan's expression grew more serious as she scrolled through the timeline. "This is quite a mess," she said finally. "But I don't see anything here that violates company policy. Your original post was personal and didn't mention work or colleagues. What about the harassment claims?" David asked. "I haven't contacted my wife or her friends since this started. I haven't posted anything else about them. They're the ones escalating this on social media." I showed them the increasingly vicious comments on their posts, many of which tagged me directly. Susan nodded. "I'll document this conversation and let the complainant know we've investigated. But Chris, I'd recommend keeping your personal life off social media until this blows over. Actually, I was hoping to clear the air completely. Would it violate any policies if I posted a factual response to the allegations against me?" Susan and David exchanged glances. "As long as it's truthful and doesn't violate anyone's privacy illegally, it's your right to defend yourself," Susan said. "But be careful. Social media wars rarely end well for anyone." I thanked them and went back to my desk, but I couldn't concentrate on work. My phone kept buzzing with notifications from the ongoing drama. More people were taking sides, and the sides were becoming more entrenched. Then I got a text from Emily. "Megan showed up at my apartment last night. She was drunk and screaming about the necklace. My neighbors called security. I called her immediately. 'Are you okay?' 'I'm fine. But Chris, she's really unstable right now. She kept saying I'd ruined her life, and that I was trying to steal you from her. She demanded I give back the necklace. Did you? Hell no. She forfeited any claim to that when she cheated on you. But I'm worried about what she might do next.' Emily was right to worry. That afternoon, I got a call from Mark. 'You need to see this,' he said. 'Check Megan's Facebook page.' I pulled it up and felt my stomach drop. Megan had posted a long, emotional message, claiming I'd been psychologically abusing her for years, monitoring her activities, isolating her from friends, and threatening her when she tried to assert independence. She said she'd finally found the courage to leave me, but I was retaliating by spreading lies and turning her family against her. The post included a photo of her with a bruise on her arm, claiming I'd grabbed her during an argument. It had already been shared dozens of times, with comments expressing outrage and support for her bravery. I stared at the photo, trying to remember when I could have caused that bruise. Then it hit me. I'd never touched her in anger, ever. The bruise was either from someone else or completely fabricated. But it didn't matter. The court of public opinion doesn't require evidence, just compelling narrative. And Megan's story of the abused wife finding courage to leave was much more compelling than mine of the cheated husband fighting back. My phone started ringing immediately. Friends, family, coworkers, all wanting to know if the allegations were true. I let them go to voicemail, knowing that anything I said would be twisted and used against me. That's when I realized I was fighting the wrong battle. I'd been trying to defend myself against lies when I should have been exposing the truth. Megan and her friends had made this public, had dragged our private problems into the social media arena. Fine. But they'd forgotten that I had access to information they didn't know I had. I opened my laptop and began uploading files to a new blog I'd created. The Upgrade Project Exposed. I posted everything. The group chat screenshots showing their planning and mockery. The timeline of Megan's lies correlated with her actual location data. The evidence of her affair, her friends' encouragement, and their coordinated campaign to destroy my reputation. But I saved the best for last. A video compilation of Megan's own words from the group chat, read aloud by a text-to-speech program over screenshots of her lies. Her voice describing Alex's performance, rating their encounters, laughing about my inadequacies, planning her deception. I titled it, "The Truth About the Upgrade Project," and posted it everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, even LinkedIn. Then I sent the link to everyone who'd shared Megan's abuse allegations. Within an hour, the narrative had shifted again. People who'd been condemning me were now apologizing. The comments on Megan's post turned from supportive to skeptical to downright hostile as more people saw the evidence. But I wasn't done. I'd learned something important about social media warfare. Timing is everything. And I had one more card to play. I called Alex's gym. CrossFit Phoenix, this is Derek. Hi, I'm calling about one of your trainers, Alex Russo. I'm considering personal training, but I wanted to check his background first. Has he ever had any issues with clients? I'm sorry, I can't discuss personnel matters. You'd need to speak with the manager. Is the manager available? He's with a client right now. Can I take a message? Just tell him that Chris Martinez called about Alex Russo's background check. He'll know what it's about. I hung up and waited. If Alex was smart, he'd realize the implications immediately. If he wasn't, well, that would be even more interesting. Either way, the war was about to escalate to a whole new level. The call came at 8 p.m. Unknown number, but I knew who it was. You son of a bitch. Alex's voice was tight, with barely controlled rage. What the hell do you think you're doing? Evening, Alex. I was wondering when you'd call. You posted private conversations online. That's illegal. That's harassment. Actually, it's evidence of adultery and conspiracy to defame. But thanks for confirming you've seen it. Take it down, now, or I'll make you take it down. I laughed. Is that a threat? Because I'm recording this call, and threatening someone over the phone is actually illegal in Arizona. Silence. Then, what do you want? I want you to understand something, Alex. You picked the wrong marriage to wreck and the wrong husband to humiliate. I know about Tucson. I know about your ex-girlfriend, your kids, your debts. I know you're one paycheck away from losing your apartment and your car. You don't know anything. Jessica Martinez, your ex. 2 kids, Sophia, 8, and Diego, 6. You owe $14,000 in back child support. Jessica filed a restraining order against you in March 2023 after you put her in the hospital with a dislocated shoulder and a concussion. You left town instead of fighting the charges. Another long silence. That was different. That was assault, Alex. And now you're involved with another married woman, helping her destroy her husband's reputation with false abuse allegations. How do you think that looks to a judge if Jessica decides to pursue those charges? What do you want? He repeated, but his voice had lost its edge. I want you to disappear. Break it off with Megan. Find another gym. Leave town. I don't care. But if I see you anywhere near my wife or my family again, I'll make sure Jessica gets your current address and employment information. You can't prove any of that Tucson stuff. Can't I? I have court records, Alex. Police reports, hospital records, your ex-girlfriend's statement. I have everything, and I'll use it all if you don't walk away right now. I could hear him breathing heavily. And if I do, you'll leave me alone? If you disappear from our lives completely, you'll never hear from me again. But if you don't, I'll destroy you. I'll make sure every gym in Arizona knows about your history. I'll make sure Jessica and your kids know exactly where to find you. I'll make sure everyone in Phoenix knows exactly what kind of man you really are. He hung up without another word. Phase 1 complete. The next morning, I got a furious call from Megan. Alex won't return my calls. What did you do? I had a conversation with him about his future prospects. You threatened him. I informed him. There's a difference. This is insane, Chris. You've lost your mind. You're stalking us, posting private conversations, threatening people. I'm defending myself against a coordinated campaign of lies and character assassination. There's a difference there, too. I want a divorce. Good. I'll have my lawyer draw up the papers. But Megan, you should know that everything I've posted online will be evidence in the divorce proceedings. The adultery, the deception, the false abuse allegations. Arizona is a no-fault state, but judges still consider conduct when dividing assets. She was quiet for a moment. You've changed. You're not the man I married. You're right. The man you married would have let you walk all over him. He would have believed your lies, accepted your excuses, and probably blamed himself for your affair. But that man died yesterday, when he saw how little you thought of him. I never meant for it to go this far. Yes, you did. You and your friends turned my humiliation into a game. You scored your dates with Alex like Olympic events. You laughed about my inadequacies and planned my emotional destruction. This is exactly how far you meant for it to go. What happens now? Now you face the consequences of your choices. Your friends too. What does that mean? It means Janet and Marie helped you plan this affair, encouraged your deception, and then tried to destroy my reputation when the truth came out. They made this public, Megan. They brought this war to social media. Now they get to live with the results. I hung up and opened my laptop. It was time for the final phase of my revenge. I'd been monitoring Janet's and Marie's social media accounts since this began, and I'd noticed some interesting patterns. Janet, the recently divorced one, had been posting about her girls' nights with Megan and Marie, but her location data told a different story. While she'd been telling everyone she was supporting Megan through her marital problems, she'd actually been having her own affair with her divorce lawyer. Marie, the perpetually single one, had been more careful about her digital footprint, but she'd made one crucial mistake. She'd used her work computer to coordinate the campaign against me, and her work computer was on the same network as her company's client database, which included several high-profile Phoenix politicians and business leaders whose personal information she'd been accessing without authorization. I compiled the evidence into 2 separate files and began making phone calls. First, I called Janet's ex-husband, a decent guy named Tom, who'd been blindsided by her divorce filing. Tom, this is Chris Martinez, Megan's husband. I have some information you might find interesting about Janet's divorce proceedings. Chris, what kind of information? The kind that shows she was cheating with her lawyer while claiming you were the unfaithful one. The kind that might affect your settlement agreement. I sent him the files and let him draw his own conclusions. Then I called Marie's employer, a prestigious law firm where she worked as a paralegal. I need to speak with your IT security department about a potential data breach involving one of your employees. By